I'm going to turn things over to Adam and Rosine. Please take it away.
Thanks, Brandon. So first of all, welcome everybody. We're very excited to have you here, and hopefully we can shed some light, answer some questions on what we're going to be expecting for July, give you a little bit of a sneak preview of what we know is coming for January. And as we've been working over this set of changes at BCC Software, there's no question that what we're dealing with in July and then also coming in January is some of the biggest changes that we've been seeing from the post office that will be affecting our software and will be affecting the structure of what the post office expects you to be doing to prepare your mail. So hopefully, as we go through this, if there's questions that we haven't answered in this general presentation, like Brandon said, please be using that chat feature. We'll either be answering those live or answering those in the Q&A with Tammy and Zach moderating there. Like Brandon said, we will get through this all together with these major changes that are coming at us. The biggest thing that I want to call out to start everything here is that we have been working on these changes, BCC Software, in some capacity, whether that just be in conversations and industry meetings, reviewing documentation, looking over the overview documents that the USPS has put out, or just scoping the work since sometime mid-February. Since mid-February, a huge amount of changes have come down the pike. We'll talk about one of those major changes that is not happening and how that's affected everything across the board. And then as we go through some of the other changes, we'll touch on how our software is going to be treating those things, and also how you should be expecting to see those things transition as we get closer to July 13th. The first thing to call out here is just a couple of important dates. These are the dates that we normally get. Hopefully they're not a surprise for the June 29th and the July 13th dates there. Those are the normal dates that we see as we get close to a rate case. June 29th, we will get the Postal One deployment. That will mean that you can download and start submitting jobs through Postal One that have that post July 13th mailing date. And in a perfect world, the software that you will be using to submit those will be coming either right before you already have that in hand or very, very shortly after that date. July 13th is the rate case implementation date. We will be talking about what the post office's rollover is going to look like there when we get closer to some of these changes here. We also have the July 29th date. There was an industry alert sent out regarding that date, and that's, again, a very similar thing to what we see every year, and that you have a certain amount of time, a certain leeway to enter mail that was submitted to the post office with the pre-July 13th rules and rates, and that is, and to get those into the mailing, the mailing network, the postal network, you have to do that before July 29th. So make sure you take a look at that industry alert. And then a couple of future looking dates until we start looking closer to January. We have a new promotion coming up. And if you're doing catalogs, make sure you are aware of those dates because you can start to register for that new promotion. It's a big promotion for catalogs, 10% on all catalogs that qualify. Beginning August 15th, and then you can start submitting those mailings with those promotion prices on October 1st. All right. First, the big elephant in the room of what didn't change. BPM was proposed to be removed was proposed by the post office to be removed somewhere back in October of last year, I believe it was. It was for sure end of last year. The post office was expecting the PRC, their Postal Regulatory Committee, to approve that. And so they've been moving forward with the assumption up until very recently that would be in effect for the July 13th date. When the PRC approved the January 13th prices, BPM removal was not included in those, and so the post offices had to do a little bit of rework, had to do a little bit of changing gears. They kind of knew it was coming at some level, but also at the same time, there was a lot of things that weren't communicated or weren't put into writing as a result of them moving forward with the assumption that BPM would be going away. And if this is news to you, please let us know, and we'll make sure that those materials that they're proposing are available. But what we're expecting for BPM now is that they'll push it forward to January. We don't know for sure that we'll get an approval of that from the PRC either by January, but that is the kind of next set of assumptions that we'll be watching for BPM to be removed. And then some of the expansions that the post office was proposing to put into effect for marketing mail to come into effect at that time as well.